problem with going by testosterone level is that males can artificially suppress their testosterone level. This was the same issue that they had with Casa Semenya, because Casa Semenya was excluded from the female category because of having male testosterone levels. And Casa Semenya, how we know that Casa Semenya is male is that when Casa Semenya filed the appeal, right, against being excluded, they filed on the basis of having an intersex disorder, and then inside the court documents, the specific disorder is revealed, and that disorder is a disorder that can only happen to males, and that conclusively medically proves that Casa Semenya is male, and it's suspected that Khalif has the same problem. So I'm done.
Thank you, Sugar. Well, let me announce this new poll, this stimulating poll. The trans athletes participate in female sports. Well, we got no way. Or yes, they should. What do you guys think? Let me see. I'm going popcorn style.
Can I just say something? And I was sitting at a stoplight and I looked at the chat. Trillian, supporting trans people is supporting violence in 2025. Can you maybe walk me through the statistics and the data to support that, in contrast to the support of young white men in them being overrepresented in walking into K through 12 institutions and blowing away children in America? Can we maybe go through those numbers?
Yeah, and statistically, I'd like to address that 6% of Asians are, hermaphrodites. So, that's 1.7% of the population. You guys are denying some part of their existence. It's not close for thousands of years.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. Hey, K, you stole me some Cuban rum, Joe.
I still have that rum, bro. I gotta just come by and drop it off.
All right, yeah, continue your salute.
I was just saying that, for thousands of years in Asia, we've accepted these people in, ancient texts. They're a part of our community. They're, seen as good luck. And we take care of them because God made them that way. Those are my sentences. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so forgive me, I'm stuffing my face because I'm Team Big Back. Look through my photos.
Hell yes!
Look through my photos so you can confirm. But yeah, I think the data might take too long, and also this room isn't about white men who are young and shooting people. I don't like them either.
Well, it could be if they identify as trans.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then we're talking, then there's that, and I agree. But yeah, hello, did he ask Trillian or who's this?
AK, let her land because she don't play around.
You can speak for me if I don't give a fuck, because I said what I said. I think promoting trans in 2025 is promoting violence. I don't think I need any data.
But what's your statement from the standpoint of promoting transgenderism or defending?
Promoting, defending.
You see that as being the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I do have one trans friend. She has her penis still, which sounds crazy to me, but I call her what she wants to be referred to as. I've known her for over a decade. We don't talk about weird shit. I don't feel intimidated by her when we've been in the bathroom. I met her when I was in my early 20s.
You don't feel like calling her is defending, and so, you don't feel like calling her is defending.
A relationship, I've never had an issue with trans people because my introduction to the trans community was through her, and I've never felt weird about it. I started feeling weird when I'm seeing men with fake fucking prosthetic titties on the news assaulting women and other men who are identifying as trans in high school, attacking girls in school. And when I see men dressed as women again in women's sports, I'm not an athlete, so it doesn't affect me, but that's what it's evolved to. I don't like it. Is there some normalcy? Really quick, are there good, clean, kind, fun, loving, and all these other great things of trans women or men? I'm sure. But I only have one person to base that off of. Are you going to base my one opinion off anyone in this room or any of the mods? I hope not.
Wait. Go ahead, Trillian.
Yeah, just based on, I don't know, I can pull up these articles where women are being assaulted by trans men. I can pull up some stuff. again, I'm stuffing my face. I think bigging my back is more important. But if it was how it was back in the day when I was in my 20s or even before that, I think, is tall still here? I like tall. You know, she said she grew up in that community and everything was fun and good vibes. Yeah. But in my opinion, from what I've seen, it is not fun and good vibes anymore. I don't want anyone to hate me for saying what I said per se. If you do, I'm also okay with that. But I don't know how else to say. I kind of said what I said. That's how I feel.
And I hear you, but even in your defense of what you said, which you didn't have to defend yourself, you said what you said. But I respect you for taking the time and actually explaining what you meant by what you said. But even the fact that you're calling, your friend a she, do you not feel that that is promoting and defending a trans person by calling him a she?
Well, I said earlier, I mean, it could be. So let's say yes and no, because I'm sure someone feels no, you feel yes, whatever. But I said earlier, if you were born Samuel and you want me to call you Samantha, I'm gonna respect that. But in my head, do I have my own opinions? Yeah, and I keep them to myself to be respectful. So yeah, I met her as, let's say, Samantha, and then 2 years into our friendship, she told me she was fucking born as Samuel, and I was like, oh well, I'm not just gonna be a bitch and start calling you a bitch.
Oh, so you guys were friends under the impression that she was a female, born a biological. Okay, and let me ask you this: were you attacked by this person?
I know you heard the other stuff I said.
No, I know, but I just want to make it very clear. You didn't know that this person had a penis, because you did mention that they still have a penis. Did they ever try to do anything funny with you? Did you ever feel disrespected, violated, or compromised in your womanhood?
Clippers, I think you're an intelligent person.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking these questions.
Because maybe you didn't hear me. I don't know if I broke up, but I did say she's the one person that has introduced me to that life, and it was a level of normalcy. This was over a decade ago. I'm in my late 30s.
What if your child came home and told you that they were trans? Would you love them less? What would you do in that situation?
I would. First of all, if you were a girl, I have a son, you guys. As of now, I have a son. I don't know. Tomorrow he may be my daughter. Who knows? But I have a son, and the same rules that would apply if he was my daughter. Neither of you bitches are allowed to wear makeup outside the house. You know, when you're 18 or 21 or whatever the fuck you're ready to fly and be whatever, be your, independent, you do whatever you want. I'm still gonna love my child, but I'm not gonna like some of the choices they fucking make. It would be the same if he decided he wanted to be a felon, and no disrespect to felons, but my son is black. We don't need any more nigga felons on earth. So that would disappoint me. So I don't know if that answers your question. I would still love him, but I would not allow certain things. No, you're not allowed to wear dresses. You're not allowed to wear nails. I mean, shout out to Brent Man's rock mother, but that's not allowed in my house. When you're over a certain age and you settled in, because here's the thing, these kids are changing their minds. And I'll say one thing, I don't want to take it dark. I was molested by a female as a little girl. And it made me confused. And I thought maybe I liked girls, but I didn't. It was that I was fucking molested by a little girl. As a little girl. So I would, have a conversation and ask, what is this really about? If he, to his core, wanted to be a woman, then he has to give himself time to really figure that out. Because let's not act like these people are not changing their minds. Some of them are, especially as children. You change your fucking mind. A lot of girls, and I'm gonna land here for real. A lot of girls, they go through a tomboy phase. Then they change their mind, and then they're the girliest of girls. So,
I mean, my first experience with a trans person was one of my best friends from high school that I played sports with. We went to 2 different colleges, but kind of lived together during college briefly. He was going through a rough patch and lived in my family home. So, one year for Halloween, we all thought that, we were going to a frat party, and he thought that was around like the metrosexual time, and he dressed up as a girl, and all of the compliments that he was getting from actually women, and mind you, this dude was in drag, okay? he never stopped dressing as a woman. And now he is fully transitioned. He works for Jeffree Star and has a very lucrative and successful business and is married to a Middle Eastern man, which is, I mean, it is what it is. Can I say that the friendship fell apart because of the transgenderism? No, the friendship fell apart because this person had an affair with one of my parents' neighbors' husbands.
Hold on 1 second. Adams, I got a vote. Hold on, shoot about. Adams, I'm in the mod. You can help run the room with the knives when I get back, please. Thank you. I'll be back in a little bit.
I got you, Jay. But yeah, Trillian, he ended up having an affair with one of my parents' neighbors' husbands. And the affair started at a party. My parents went to Mexico. I threw a party at my house. My neighbor's husband came in with his wife, actually. She got too drunk and went home. And then I caught my friend and my neighbor's husband making out in the backseat of my friend's car. So, yeah, I mean, that's why, the friendship fell apart.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to say, Trillian, so, I think the thing you said about, like, your friend and everything, like, that's cool. I think my only problem with what you said is, like, I've heard a lot of women who like, oh, I have a trans friend, or, oh, I don't mind, or, like, I've never felt threatened by, like, a trans person, sharing the same bathroom as me, I don't mind, and that's cool. But the problem is, like, you can waive your own rights for yourself, and you do have the right to waive your own rights for yourself, but you can't consent for any of the other women. And I think, like, it's a serious problem. And then to Jarl, because, like, Jarl and I are having kind of an intersex conversation off the heels of the Khalif thing. So the comment that you made where you said that, maybe a woman could have, like, testosterone, how you're talking about, natural male testosterone is between 5 times and 30 times the maximum level for women. So if a woman has testosterone in the male range, she's either dead, right, or she is on her way to dying of a serious medical problem. And this is exactly the issue. People think, oh, well, what if some women have more or have, like, naturally high testosterone? No. The woman with the highest natural testosterone still has less testosterone than the man with the lowest natural testosterone in the world. Like, it's a gulf. There's no overlap at all. And a lot of people just don't know that. They don't. So like, when people talk about, like, the performance difference, the biggest indicator of performance difference is going through male puberty, right? So once somebody goes through male puberty, there is a massive difference in, like, athletic performance, in speed, agility, all of these things. Massive. Overall, men are about 33% stronger than women, and then if you limit it to upper body strength, men are between 40% to 50% stronger than women. Like, there's no comparison whatsoever.
Okay, let me ask something really quickly. Oh, John, you have to respond.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll be quick. So, you're right. Generally speaking, I don't know what you said. I don't know anything about the topic. But you're right, generally speaking, that, yeah, men have higher testosterone levels than women. It took like 2 seconds to find plenty of examples of women who have higher testosterone levels than some men. So I don't know why you said
Do you treat
in the hospital.
friends just in the...
Can you give us examples, the examples that you found, please, and, like, what the levels were?
Sure, so...
Hold on. Before we go any further, David, we're not doing this here, okay? Stay on mute. The we speak French slurring your word bullshit. Drink responsibly like a responsible adult, and if you're not going to, don't come off of mute.
Like, I'm not going to pretend like it's not an extreme situations.
Well, don't pretend. Like, I know French, so... Like,
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's in the audience. Drink some water. Drink some water. Go to sleep. Face down. Go ahead.
Yeah, so John, my point to you is, like, a woman with testosterone levels of that range, right, is in a disease state. She basically, if she walked into a hospital or she encountered a doctor and they tested her and they found out that her testosterone was at this level in the range of men, no. If you have testosterone in the range of men, something is seriously wrong in your body. You have a serious medical issue.
So are we aware that there are... who's speaking? Who's that? let him give an introduction. No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be quick. There are some men that can be as low as 100, nanomoles per liter. There are some women who can go up to 150 nanomoles per liter. Men can go up to 1,000, and women generally are below 100. I understand that's a huge difference, but it can happen that some women can go over some men. There's also been studies.
Saying that it can't happen. What I'm saying is that if it gets to that point, it's disease state. That's my point. Right? So my points are when people are talking about when people are talking about and they're also talking in terms of competition, right? When they're talking about this stuff, the factor too is because people get so caught up in testosterone and they forget that the real problem is male puberty. That's the real problem. It is basically male puberty. Yeah. So what I mean is that for example, if you go to this website called Boys versus Women, there's a really good chart of this, right? And what that chart is, it basically takes all the women who are the Olympic gold medalists of different sports like running, things like that, and then it charts them against high school boys, right, who participate in these national competitions of track.
Sure, Billy, can I ask you a question? Are you an endocrinologist?
No.
Okay. Have you had any endocrinology training?
No.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Proceed.
Yeah, so basically, it plots them against high school boys, participating in national track competitions, and it tracks the age at which the boys start to surpass the Olympic women's performance, and generally it kind of ranges around 15 to 18, and that's the effect of male puberty. And what I mean is the structural changes that boys experience as they go through puberty and turn into men that give them a physical advantage over women, right? That is the real reason why you have all this controversy over men in women's sports. It's because men have denser bones, they have more muscle mass, they have greater lung capacity, they have bigger hearts, their hearts are able to pump more blood, they have narrow pelvises which make them more aerodynamic, they have more fast twitch muscles, things like this compared to women. So when people kind of get stuck in the weeds about who has more testosterone, blah, blah, you're missing the point, really.
Well,
My understanding is it's not likely that. Go ahead, actually, I'm done. I'm sorry.
go ahead. I want you to be able to respond. Go ahead.
The last thing I'll say is, and I'll look for it after and post it in the chat, but my understanding is a lot of the fastest Olympic female runners have very high testosterone levels. And not to negate anything you said, Sugar Belly, because all of those things are true, but testosterone definitely plays a part. That's all I wanted to say.
I'm not disputing that testosterone plays a part, so we agree completely on that point. We completely agree on that point.
So let me ask you a question. From an endocrinology perspective, do you understand why women who are in menopause actually get testosterone treatments?
Do you mean estrogen replacement treatment?
No, I don't.
Mm-hmm. So testosterone treatments? Yeah, because when they're in menopause.
And what physical and biological function does it support for them to do so?
So first of all, both men and women have testosterone. It's not it's not an exclusively male.
We know this. Can you maybe answer my question?
Yes, I'm trying to answer your question, but I'm not an endocrinologist, right? So I don't think your question is relevant to what I'm saying.
No, it is. It's very relevant because a lot of women in the middle of menopause, and I think that I probably have a lot more clinical training than you do. A lot of women in menopause actually get testosterone injections to support higher energy, right?
Okay.
A higher sex drive, and also to address matters of bone density.
Yeah, so I would like to ask a question. So
wait. I have a question to this point. I'm not trying to be disgusting.
Yeah, sure.
I've heard that a lot of women, when they go through menopause slippers, that cootie cat kind of gets dry. Does the testosterone help with the moisture? I'm just curious. Just curious.
Yeah, so
Not the cootie cat.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to verify thing, just so I'm not assuming, right?
Wait, is your question, is testosterone, does.
No.
Yes, it can. It can actually alleviate vaginal dryness. Yes.
Okay, sorry. The thing I want to verify, please. Did anybody in this room hear me claim that I was a doctor or an endocrinologist? Because I'm trying to understand Slippers' line of
No, and I'm not a doctor either, but I do have a lot more advanced biology education and clinical training.
Yeah,
But I'm not a doctor. Right. So I'm going to start from the standpoint of science and being intellectually honest.
Yeah.
So when you say these
barreling over me though, like
no, I'm not barreling over you.
You kind of are though.
No, I'm just presenting facts that aren't consistent with your usual talking points.
Again, Slippers, like it's fine for you to disagree. I don't have a problem with you like disagreeing with every single thing I'm saying. But the truth is that you are getting a bit hostile and combative, and I don't know why.
Oh,
like,
now I'm being told police. This is crazy.
No, but you are though. Like I was having a perfectly fine conversation with Jarl, right? But then you first of all came off and you're like, oh, are you an endocrinologist? And then when I said no, it was like laugh emojis, and then now you're asking me irrelevant questions.
Sugar Belly, it's very relevant. You speak from a standpoint and authority from a clinical perspective, and I just want to give context as to your lack of clinical training. That's it.
So again,
that's it. It's not a gotcha moment. It's not a gotcha moment.
So I would just like to remind everyone in the room, right, that the statement that you speak from a standpoint of a clinical perspective, of authority of a clinical perspective, is a lie. Because at no point did I ever represent myself as a doctor or represent myself as
you gave that perception,
right?
You definitely have given that perception, and you actually have. Sugar Belly, listen.
I'm not responsible.
Sugar Belly. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing, and Nicholas called it out. It was. You are very good at gaslighting, right? Because you're not responsible. Because guess what? You're not licensed.
And now
right? You're not licensed. You are talking from the standpoint of a clinical authority that you do not have.
You just muted me because you're being
I muted you because you won't shut the fuck up.
No, because you were talking over me.
Right, because you won't shut the fuck up. And in case you haven't noticed, I have a green bean and you don't. Right? So when I mute you, that's not an invitation to keep flapping your
thumbs. This is mod abuse.
No, it's not mod abuse. It's not mod abuse. No, it's not mod abuse. What you're doing,
you're abusing your power.
Hold on. I want to respect Flipper's position as a mod, but at the same time, I want to give her an opportunity to respond. So can we find some middle ground? Would you please?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm picking up my tape now.
Okay, great. So I just want to point out, right, that a couple of things have happened in this conversation. Jarl and I were having a conversation about, these rules they have at the Olympics, about, who can compete, who can't compete, whether it's about testing testosterone levels or so on and so forth, right? That is directly what Jarl and I were talking about. We're also talking about, like, Iman Khalif and, like, the recent Olympic situation, right? I want to make it clear to everybody in this room that Slippers asking me if I'm an endocrinologist, and then furthermore asking me why menopausal women, who are not even in the group of people, right, who we're discussing in the first place, would take testosterone injections is utterly irrelevant to the point. It's just an attempt to derail. It's basically an appeal to authorities, like, or a reverse appeal to authority, like, oh, well, if you're not an endocrinologist, you can't have this conversation. You don't have to be an endocrinologist to understand that men, right, after they go through male puberty, they gain physical advantages that put them much, much higher than women when it comes to athletic performance. Nobody has to be a doctor to understand that. So, and this is exactly what I mean. Like, people who are either, like, sympathetic to this trans cause, they kind of engage in a lot of, obfuscating, derailing, trying to just, like, ask you irrelevant questions or trying to, like, poke holes because they don't actually have a counterpoint to defeat what you said. I was enjoying the conversation with Jarl. I think that Jarl, was engaging very politely. I was being polite to Jarl. But Slippers, you were being really aggressive to me for no reason.
Okay, so I just want to switch the conversation just briefly because what I've noticed, what hasn't been mentioned in this discussion today, are biological males being put in women's prisons. And we've heard stories, and I know somebody's going to say, well, I haven't heard about this. So I'm going to go ahead and give you just at least two names. And then I encourage anybody who's interested to go to Google and just type in trans women attacks in women's prisons or some variation of those keywords, but you can find other examples. So I'm curious how folks on the stage and in the room, anybody in the Google wants to come up and share, how controversial case out of California last year that involved a man, a 6-foot-tall, 225 biological male named Tremaine, Tremaine Carroll, who was charged with 2 counts of rape. He had to be pulled from a women's prison for allegedly raping an inmate. There was also a case out in Canada, a trans inmate formerly known as Adam Laboucan, Laboucan, forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, was accused of viciously assaulting a female inmate in Canada. Just recently, there was another story I'm trying to pull up of another trans inmate. I mean, literally just last week I read it. I'm trying to find that story so I can give you that name, who also was accused of viciously attacking a female in the prison. There is an article, the headline from the Daily Mail from 2005, September 3rd, female prisoners fear they could be attacked by high-risk trans inmates. We've even had trans advocacy groups, particularly in the case involving the California transgender Tremaine, who acknowledged there was no evidence that he identified as trans before he was convicted and sentenced to prison. When he was sentenced for his crimes, it was then that he identified as a woman, and they put him in a women's prison. And this trans advocacy group worked overtime to get him, they helped get him out of that prison because he's not trans. When I've had these conversations in spaces similar to this, you know what I've heard from men and women, but especially women? They have said, well, what's the big deal? Because the male guards beat and rape the women anyway. So they don't care. They don't care that the trans women are, again, before somebody comes off the mic and says, well, not all trans women are attacking and raping women. We're not saying all. But the fact that we have one case is alarming. The fact that we have 2 cases is alarming. The fact that we can pull up a handful of articles, possibly more, about trans women attacking and raping females in prison is alarming. And anybody who pushes back, they're called a TERF, they're called transphobic, they're put into an other category and made to feel ostracized, or their opinion is invalid because you dare want to defend women. So I'm curious what the stage, what the mods, folks in the goo feel about trans women being housed in women's prisons.
So I'm going to be very open and honest. I feel like the reason why a lot of this specific issue has not gotten attention is because it's prison, right? Prison isn't made to be comfortable. Should men be housed with women and exposing them to violence? Absolutely not. I'm just simply pointing out why this issue has not gained esteem to the point of having a conversation to solve the problem.
Yeah, I would
If you don't want to get raped, don't go to prison.
There you go.
I also believe that. Yeah, I agree with what Slipper
And that works for men too.
Yeah, I agree with what Slipper said.
Well, calm down.
Also, if you don't want to be in jail and get fucked, whether you're a man or a woman, you should just try to live a life where you're not going to be in prison. Like Mother said.
Actually, prison is a rampant issue, right? Regardless of which cell people are in. Men raping other men in street, in fucking prisons, women abusing other women and playing with their cootie cats. Like, this is a problem in prison everyone knows about, but we just don't care because we consider these people to be subhuman to the rest of us in the general population, so we don't waste time thinking about them or resources.
Wait, I love that you.
I just want to say that, like, I find some of the responses to this specific prison issue very strange, right? So it's true, yes, like racism.
Give other people a second to breathe, because you're about to talk for like 10 minutes.
Sorry, that's quite rude, actually.
TA, did you want to say something?
Thanks, Jill. Yeah, I'll be really quick.
Like Sugar Belly.
Hello, I wasn't trying to be rude either. Like.
Okay, for the record, you don't have to answer that question.
The thing with Sugar Belly is, it's like, hey,
do you want to speak?
One at a time. One at a time. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I appreciate it. I'm super Canadian, so I'm sorry if I mute up really quick.
And hello, by the way.
Hello, guys. I was going to say this. I think this one's different than the professional sports. I actually think it has to do with like post-op, pre-op, like the equipment. Right? Because I agree. Like, listen, horrible things happen to prisoners all the time, hetero, gay, everything. But I think the reason we separate is because of the type of biological equipment that people have. And I think uniquely in prisons, it actually should come down to like what you're packing post-op, pre-op.
Let me just ask something. If anybody, for folks on the stage, really quick, if you have a daughter, and she was wayward, and she got herself in trouble and ended up in prison, and her cellmate ended up being a 6 foot, 250 pound man who raped her senselessly and beat her on a daily. So y'all would be okay with that because she committed a crime and ended up in jail. Is that what? Is that?
No, we're not. Anyone is saying that even if it was a stranger, it's horrible and heinous. Even if it's a stranger if it was someone I don't like, I would think it's heinous and horrible.
It is, but I also feel like to some degree in the underbelly, this is not a pun at Sugar Belly, but I feel like the underbelly of, the establishment feels like if they're not correcting the issue and women truthfully here, it might serve as a deterrent to not engage in criminality and end up in said prison. So, I mean, in my personal opinion, I feel like from the standpoint of, and I know you guys are going to jump on me, okay, but every once in a while, I jump out with my radical conservative ideas. Maybe prisons should be, maybe they should be mixed sex. Maybe they should, put men in with women. Maybe that would be a deterrent for people to not engage in criminality. I'm sorry. And especially once you commit certain crimes, I'm not really necessarily worried about how comfortable you are in prison.
Sorry.
Problem, though?
So yeah, co-ed prisons might be a deterrent.
Hold on. Okay, what we're gonna do? Hold on. This is what we're gonna do. TA was speaking. We're gonna go TA. At Sugar Belly, we're gonna give you a minute to respond. BB might want to respond, and welcome Marshall to the stage. So go ahead, TA. Sugar Belly.
Yeah.
Thanks. Really quick.
Yeah, it was. I'd actually rather record
the person back into
Crazy Adams
society.
and Stupid Mind.
The deterrent for crime shouldn't be rape, it should be rehabilitation. It's the idea is we want to bring these people back in, right? Only unless they are never going to re-enter society, in which case, again, don't torture them, just keep them locked up. I don't think torture should ever be a part of rehabilitation or...
Well, let me just be very clear. Hold on, Marshall. Hold on.
Ooh.
I do not condone sexual assault
Hate them all.
in any way, shape, or form. Okay? So I just want to be very, very, very clear. And I know that you didn't imply that I did, but I want to be very clear in what I said. I said what I said. Okay? Maybe if they had co-ed prisons, that would wake up a light in people's head to not engage in criminality. That is what I said.
So you're saying rape is a good deterrent so that people don't commit
Y'all going right back to the bullshit. Let me be loud and motherfucking clear. I said that perhaps having co-ed prisons could be a deterrent to prevent people from criminality. Nobody ever talked about assault. Nobody ever talked about any of that other bullshit. Y'all are being hyperbolic and adding more shit to what the fuck I said.
You're saying that you don't regard
William, you're going down to the audience. I didn't say that. You're hearing voices.
Okay. We're gonna wait a minute. Wait. Sugar Belly's gonna go. Marley, I got you. We're gonna go Sugar Belly. BB, if you want to go, then Marshall.
Yeah,
and then
I'd like to hear Sugar Belly.
Hey, bring Brother William back up, y'all.
William can come back up. But
He's not well. He's hearing voices.
But also,
Okay,
what's the
so
conversation?
I just want to say three main things. What is it? The first thing I wanted to say, I think it was to what, it was about like the responses, right, about the prison issue. And I feel like a lot of the responses are a bit strange because, okay, we can acknowledge the fact that there's already a rape problem in prison, whether it's guards raping prisoners, whether it's like other prisoners raping prisoners and so on and so forth. There's a pre-established rape problem in prison, which is terrible, and that needs to be fixed. But then the whole trans prison argument is an argument about introducing a policy, right, or making a change that facilitates additional rape in prison. So more rape on top of the pre-existing rape. And it's always very strange, like when people kind of dismiss the challenges to that idea by citing pre-existing rape. Like, these two things are a problem. You don't have to kind of pit them against each other. Even just because we haven't solved the existing rape problem does not mean that we should then allow policies that would then allow additional rapes to happen. That just doesn't make any sense. The second thing I wanted to say, I think it was to like what T said, when he said that, like, you know, it's because of like the equipment, like the difference in genitals. I would partially agree that is like partially the reason for, you know, separating, but I would also say that it's not just limited to the difference in genitals. It is also difference in strength and most importantly, difference in behavior. So men worldwide, regardless of country, there are no exceptions, as a group are about 800% to 1,000% more criminal than women, no matter the country, no matter the culture, no matter the time period, no matter the, like, nothing. This is very, very consistent around the world. So if you imprison men and women together, the people who are most likely to victimize the other group of people are the males. Okay, the men or the male prisoners are going to consistently be the majority of people who are victimizing other people, and they're going to be the minority of people who are being victimized by the female prisoners in return. And that is the primary reason why imprisoning males and females together is an internationally recognized human rights violation, because it consistently results in rape, right? And so this is to say that, like, the statement of like, oh, maybe this will be a deterrent to people's going to prison, that is a pro-rape statement. I'm sorry. I don't care how you feel about it. That is a pro-rape statement.
Thank you, Sugar Belly. BB, did you want to go?
No, because unlike Sugar Belly, I have to actually take this in and think about what she said for a minute and trying to make sense of what she said, because I don't even think she knows if she makes sense or if she doesn't make sense. And this has always been my thing with Sugar Belly, and I don't understand.
Damn, y'all got beep and smoke. Hold on. Y'all got beep and smoke detectors in the UK? Like, this is crazy.
Like, I don't know, who are you?
But I've got people coming in and fixing it. I bought the battery, but I can't do it myself. So
Who
I've
are
got
you?
people coming in tomorrow. No, Sugar Belly, I would love
Do you have a point, or do you find the stage to talk about me?
Digest what
Hey, you know, BB, if you fly me out,
Because
I will definitely wear a banana hammock as I'm changing those batteries.
Okay, let's not. I don't want to derail the conversation by attacking Sugar
what are
Belly.
we talking about? What is the conversation here?
BB, well, I had asked about prisons. How do we feel about men being housed in female prisons? And so, if you want to respond to her comments, that's fine. Let's let her respond uninterrupted, please.
So BB doesn't know the topic, but just came here to talk about me. But you don't know the topic.
She brought her ass up and didn't even know the conversation. Everybody else is waiting to talk.
This is obsession.
And you get off the microphone and then ask people what is the conversation.
Sugar Belly is in
You damn weirdo.
An obsessed weirdo.
Leave that girl alone. I don't go for her. Leave that girl alone.
You're a
So get out. Stop pausing that damn girl.
Hold on. One mic. Go ahead, Mike. Hold on. Nosy. Come on, sis. Like, come on.
So what do you think about men
Okay,
in
mother.
female prisons? But the thing is, it's like, it's not that simple, because first you have to go back and you have to determine what is transism, what is a man thinking that they're women. It's very rarely it's the other way around when it goes wrong. So I think, like, thinking about prison systems, that's when it's out of control. That's the worst case scenario, and that's actually when it actually proves to you that whatever it is not working. So I think we need to go back and we have to think, so how are we going to treat this problem? Are we going to treat it as a mental issue? Because majority don't have this issue. Majority of men don't think they're women. Majority of men don't think that women, they are very quite proud of being men. They know their genitals, they know how biology works, they know how science works, they have a level of honesty. And so for us to take this all the way down to the whole prison system, it's like, who the fuck even like got us this far that we had to go all the way down there to like sort of like
It's just a conversation,
adhere to the
baby.
problem. I think we need to nip it at the bud. So okay, I'll give you an example, right? I live in Britain. I have another minute or two, and I can speak. So
Wait a minute, what you mean you got another minute or two? No, you don't.
Mayors in big cities.
What's going on?
Baby, you up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning up on this app on the weekend. Stop it.
What's happening?
So
Did she just tell us what she has? What's
our
going on?
mayor
Somebody mute this lady now.
Can I speak?
Oh, no.
No.
The answer's no. And you've had enough time. BB, I love you. But I just want to clarify something now. What was the present question? I'm a little confused.
Well, what I noted was I said in the conversation. And wait, let me do a quick room reset while I answer
okay.
this lady.
And while you're doing the room reset, Curtis, I sent you a message in your back channel. I just want to publicly say I apologize. But yeah, check your back channel. Thank you. Go ahead. Now, Mama.
So just for those who just came into the room and you're probably like, why did we open this room? So JB stepped away, so he'll be back. JB opened the room because we were talking about, we were inspired by the reports that came out in the last, day or two, that the Charlie Kirk killer lived with his transgender lover or partner. The media's framing it as partner. So that was the kind of catalyst, the motivation for opening up the room to talk about the killer and apparently his trans partner / roommate is working with the FBI. Okay, and JB posed the question: is trans a mental illness or a sin? So that was the conversation that we were having, and it's been a very positive, healthy. It's not been an attack on trans community. And so, as the conversation, we're now here in hour two of this conversation, and I said, what's interesting, what's missing from this conversation, or not missing, what we haven't touched on, because we've talked about testosterone levels, indirectly, what is a woman, what is a man, who's stronger, who belongs in sports, are men allowed in sports? And I said, well, curiously enough, how do we feel about trans women being housed in women's prisons? And I cited 2 or 3 examples of some controversial cases that have made headlines.
And you can throw me under the bus in saying that I advocated for co-ed prisons as a deterrent. So yes, let's throw that in there. Throw Adams all the way under the bus. I'm totally good. I got tire marks on my neck.
And it's all good. Everybody's opinion is welcome. And I cited 2 or 3 examples that have made headlines over the past couple of years about trans women who sexually assaulted and violently beat women in prisons. And I want to make clear for anybody who's new to the room, I and nobody else on the stage are suggesting that trans women overall who are being housed in women's prisons are violent towards women. I was just citing examples that have made headlines, engaging the room. How do we feel? If some of us feel that men can be in the sports and the spas and the bathrooms, et cetera, how do we feel about men being housed in prisons? So just adding to the conversation. And so now here we are, and that's the room reset. And so yeah, just to make it clear, this is not an anti-trans conversation. This is not an attack on the trans community. It all started as it relates to Charlie Kirk's murderer's partner, trans partner, reportedly working with the FBI. Okay, and then it kind of went into, do we think transgenderism is a sin or a mental illness? We had a lot of great responses to that earlier. If y'all didn't miss it, nobody attacked trans, so I just want to make that clear. And so we have a queue going. I said Marshall's next. Marley wants to speak. I know William is here, and I see David. So Marshall, would you like to go?
That was a wonderful room reset. Thank you.
Thank you, First Lady.
Can we wish Trillion a happy Clubhouse anniversary?
Marshall, are you there? Did you want to go? If not, we'll go to Marley.
Yeah, I want to hear from, I think Marshall's busy. Go ahead, Marley.
Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Ladies and gentlemen. Hello, gentlemen who used to be or wish you were women, and hello, women who used to be or wish you were gentlemen. In case y'all don't know, you might not know who I am, so I'm just going to start out real quick with I am a lesbian, because I don't want to hear, she don't like trans people. I munch carpets, not just on the weekend. Okay?
Are you really? I did not know
yes,
that.
I am.
I did not know that.
I'm a 1,000% carpet muncher. I was married to a dyke who turned into a trans man. See how how I have so much to say about this conversation? Trans people are mentally ill. Now, hold on. Because this is not me being scorned from my marriage. Because after I left that crazy transformer, I was still very pro-trans. But these hippity-hoppity frog-faced ass men who are putting on glittery eyeshadow and skirts these days are crazy. They're insane. And they're after your children. And I don't care who don't like it. These new, all the trans girls, the old trans dolls, 45 and up, they don't seem to give a damn. They seem to just go and put on their girdles. They put that concrete in their face and hips, and they leave people alone. But these little young ones, these little new little funny boys, this is mental illness. And I blame the Democratic Party. And let me just say this too. And then I'm going to shut up. Putting men and women in prisons together is only going to stop women from committing crime because they don't want to be raped. Men will go out and steal Sprites and wait for the cops to come and get them so they can go to prison and have access to women that they want to rape. That's not going to solve the problem. Men want to be able to rape women, recklessly, so they'll just go to prison more. Men do not belong in prisons with women. I don't give a damn how good their wig is. I don't care how good their breast implants are. If you were born with the penis, you go over there with the penis holders. Period. Nobody cares. You go in the bathroom with them. You go into prison with them because you are a danger to us. We've had trans women all over TikTok saying that they're going to slap women if we look at them wrong in the bathroom. And I was just talking about this last night, and now you were there. That crazy one, Lily something, that crazy trans woman with the glasses and the red hair.
Lily T.
Yes, saying that a 3-year-old little girl made him feel uncomfortable in the bathroom because she was looking at me. You know how the liberals start melting down. You're literally committing violence by looking at me and calling me he. That little girl was probably trying to figure out why he looks like her father and he's in her bathroom. A 3-year-old is not committing violence against you. They want to silence everybody. They want to force everybody to confirm their delusional thinking. They want women who are mothers to say that they are chest feeders. Because when you say breastfeeding, you hurt my big 6'12", large-handed, large-footed, want to be a woman feelings. You hurt me.
Did you say 6'12"?
Yes, she did.
You're 6'12".
Wouldn't that be 7 foot?
And then I know it's 7 feet. Hey, I'm not done. And then this is my last point. Then they want to go and tell women that we can't talk about our periods because they don't have periods. You know, there are women like me. Our period almost killed us. I almost died from my period, and we can't have conversations with women about fibroids and PCOS and all of the issues that we go through because we have a uterus, because it makes them uncomfortable. So now we have to be silenced in that way. It's weird. I say put all them motherfuckers in mental institutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Marley. JB's back. Welcome, JB. JB, the last person I have in the queue here. Oh, David is not even here anymore. So, JB, back to you.
I came back in and I have to say, hey, Marley, please, you don't have to hold your feelings back. Just always say what you feel. Please, you're welcome in my space.
I'm just so tired, JB, because, really seriously, and, I know people don't take me serious sometimes because they think the things that I say is funny. But no, I really almost died a year ago. Oh, I documented all of this. I had to have surgery because I have 9 tumors growing on my damn uterus. I had to get a blood transfusion. I was literally bleeding to death. I had a period for 4 months straight. And you want to shut down conversations that women are having about serious issues that you will never experience. Ever. I don't care how much goddamn silicone you put in your chest, sir. You will never understand that. They are online telling people, these are the transformers. That's not period cramps. You don't have a period. You don't have a uterus. You don't have a vagina. That piece of balagna meat that they scraped off your thigh and rolled it up to make a clit, that's not a vagina. Okay? Stop. They're mentally ill. I mean, like, it's gone way too far. We gotta pull this shit back. And I'm gonna say it one last time. They're after your children. And I don't care who don't like it. It's not normal to give these little girls zipper tits and tell these little boys that they should whack their little pee-pees in half and invert it to make a pretend vaginal tunnel.
Hey, hold yeah. Let me just say this. Marley, please cash in your pink ticket. I love you. Get it, TA.
Quick question about the prison. That quick question about the prison question, right? And I know a lot of it goes back to kind of violence and assaults that happen. But if you had your kind of ideal prison system where it was about rehabilitation and you didn't have to subject prisoners to rape and violence, would you be okay with a post-op trans person being rehabilitated in a women's or man's prison based on their post-op gender?
I don't give a damn about post-op, pre-op, un-op, none of that. If you were born with the weed whacker, you go with the people who have weed whackers.
No, they deserve their own whacker.
Wait, somebody in the chat is asking to come up. Never mind. That's Slippers telling P to come up. Sorry.
No. So I'm now Dr. Slippers. PB, I would appreciate a real doctor if you would actually come up. Paging Dr. PB.
Oh, we don't want PB up here. She's gonna bring common sense.
No, that's exactly why we want PB up here. But Anne's coming up.
Here comes Anne Hero. What's up, Anne Hero?
Please don't do that to the room.
Well, listen. First off, I love PB. Second off, everybody do me a favor, wish Anne a happy clubhouse birthday and a real life birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Birthday square. Okay.
I don't know where the conversation's at, but I'll just listen to it for a few minutes.
Oh, I thought Anne was going to speak. Go ahead.
I may or may not sing Anne happy birthday.
I think Slipper. Let's get back to the conversation and what do you have to say?
BB's at the floor. I can't wait for you to speak.
Yeah, BB, you got the floor.
Oh, BB or PP?
BB.
Oh, well, I am a Persian. So inherently, no matter where the fuck I would I would be living in the world, by default, I am a conservative person. It's like, it's in my default, it's in my DNA system. A man is a man, a woman is a woman. And by the way, within our culture, we've had the transgender, whatever it is, we've had this far before you guys did. For some reason, like Thailand and Iran, we have the biggest community of this. And when I was like 17, 18, I came across these like transgender people, Persian. But I could understand what it was about because it was genuine. They knew who they were. They were not men. They were not women. There was something in between. And you would, as a teenager, you hang out with them. You can understand that it is something what it is. But they're not women. They're not men. And the most, it's my phylum. They know who they are. And they don't try and change your reality, and you try and understand their reality. So in that context, it works. But whatever is happening, but then again, it's the left, right? If they're not picking up the fucking misery of, the train drivers within the unions, it's like the minorities, it's the blacks, it's the Jews. It's always like they're always like going for something they can use against something else. And this is my problem with the left, and I don't understand it. And I feel for me,
PB,
it's like
respectfully, you should be more worried about you changing the battery in your fire alarm.
yeah, I know. No, they're coming to do it tomorrow because
She gonna burn up in that room.
I'm in
Recharge business.
So, no, what I do want to say is like we do live in a world where I do understand. It's like, I'm a little bit older, so I used to ride my bicycle. We didn't have fucking phones and iPads and whatever. We would hang out in different ways. I understand.
Okay, now back to your regularly scheduled program, guys. Back to you.
So we agree it's mental illness.
She actually didn't sound drunk. She didn't even sound drunk this time. You should let her speak.
Listen,
She was actually making sense. I appreciate
I
it.
had no idea what she was
You're
saying.
the only one that-
Wait, hold on. That is definitely the most sober I've ever heard of. But if you guys want to back up, bring it back up. I'm going to listen for a few minutes.
Yeah, she's a work in progress. She's a work in progress. But let's move on. Anne, exactly. How are you doing, Anne?
I mean, I have to give credit when credit's due, and this is the most sober that BB has been on this app. So like, we should give her some flowers, and that is wild coming from me, considering I have her blocked. But I was enjoying it.
That's insane.
I think Iran is actually one of the only Muslim nations in the world that pays for sex reassignment surgeries. So, like, for a long time, the Iranian government that, like, the super...
Is that true? I just thought you were trolling it.
No. That's legit. That's not a joke. That's actually true. Yeah.
So let me ask you guys a question. If I could ping a transgender person that I actually know in my real life into this room, are you guys capable of giving that person grace enough to actually have a realistic conversation? Like I'm not talking.
I can, as long as it's not Brent.
No, stop. Stop. Stop.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't want that person to get hurt. I wouldn't chance it because some people just don't know how to behave. And even if they're not trying to be rude, sometimes they might say something that still could be rude. But it's up to you.
I apologize. I told you I'm a work in progress.
This particular person was my neighbor for 3 years, about a year and a half ago, and they're actually a licensed doctor, which is very something to be said about that.
You're gonna bring Sarah in?
No, I'm not gonna bring Sarah in.
Why you keep calling the
And Sarah is also not a licensed doctor.
I mean, it's up to you. I would just, I'll try to protect the person as much as possible. I'll put them under my witness protection program, but I don't know how much of that I can do.
I don't know why, after 5 years on this app, that I feel even so bad every time Lady Chi chastises me. Nobody else. I don't give a fuck what anybody else is. When she yells at me or hits me over the nose in the newspaper, I'm like, damn, I feel like shit.
She is unique on this app, bar none. End of statement.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Lady Chi, like, it got a little tense, during the election. But I think that through maturity and a mutual understanding as to where we're kind of both at, like, I feel like that went a long way. So,
Wait, who got the maturity, you or her?
Both of us. Yeah, both of us. I'm not the same person that I was 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Life experience and education definitely has kind of changed my opinions on a lot of things.
You're not the same person you were 3 weeks ago, and I like the change. I definitely see a change in you, and I definitely like it.
And let me just say this, Dr. Slippers. I love that name. It tickles me. I'm sorry, wait a minute. All right.
Sometimes.
I'll just say that even during the election, for me, I never felt like I got upset with you you may have gotten upset with me, but I never got upset with you because I felt like we had built community relationship before then, and I understood you. I understand what you stand for, what you stand on, and I respect that. That doesn't mean I have to agree with it. And a lot of times in these conversations, people get mad at me like, well, you siding with them. No, I'm not. I just respect the person's opinions and their choices. That doesn't mean I agree with them. Just simply means I respect them as they being who they are. And that's it. And being able to do that doesn't make me it just allows me to not judge people accordingly. So I appreciate that. I appreciate, the relationship that I have built with you over the years. So yeah, love you. You're still like a little brother. Even though I'm like the grandmother, I'm 87 years old.
What are you talking about? You're 10 years younger than me. Like, hello?
Excuse me, sir. I am 87. Thank you.
I thought you was 86. You had a birthday, First Lady?
I have been 87 since I've been saying I've been 87. I have never said 86.
Oh, okay, I misheard. Okay. Hey, you aged it like Fran Wayne. Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But I mean, it's kind of one of those things, and I greatly appreciate that, and I respect you in so many different ways that I can't even express. But and it's not a but towards you. I want to draw back to my initial point that are we the same people that we were when we joined this app 5 years ago?
I don't think so.
So let's wake it up. I mean, what type of positive changes have we experienced? What type of negative changes? What type of issues that are discussed on this app that are no longer congruent with a sense of importance?
That's good right there.
That's a question. I want to answer and say I stopped telling women to have self-esteem and stop spreading their legs because they love to fuck losers and bums. So I just left them alone and let them keep doing it.
Great.
The only positive thing that happened with me was what? My dick got big.
Well, that's good. How'd you grow it?
Well, that's a good accomplishment.
I knew you wasn't going to last long when you said that. They put him out.
I mean, I don't want to know his secret because, again, if my dick was any bigger, I couldn't imagine that it would be possible.
Oh my goodness. And would you guys say that you've engaged more with people who have different opinions than you on this app? I think that's probably the thing I do the most on this app is actually engage with people who have completely different lives and opinion.
100%. And I would also say I live in a very homogenous area now. I used to not, but a lot, my now life is. And I don't get these kind of conversations. So yes, you're right, totally. And I love that. I also think I've become a better listener. I'm better at active listening and like slowly explaining my points, I guess, instead of rapid fire. I don't know. I think I've gotten better at just listening and also tempering my thoughts and statements a little.
Well, let me announce this new poll. Clubhouse has had a positive influence, negative influence, neither. Well, I'm obsessed. Everybody please vote. And I want to shout out PB, who just adopted 2 orphans from Uganda. PB, if you want to put the link to your GoFundMe to help support those young people, by all means, put it in the chat.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's PB.
Beautiful.
Oh my God, that's just amazing. PB, I did not know that you were going through that journey, and I'd like to talk to you about it a little bit, but that's amazing.
He's joking.
No, I'm not joking.
No, I mean, JB is fucking joking.
Oh, is he really?
I'm pretty sure he's joking. He says it every time.
Oh, that's bad. We trying to, you know what, JB? You're going to get help out.
JB is part of the problem. I'm
See,
kidding, I'm
like,
kidding,
so
I'm kidding, I'm
she's
kidding.
trolling.
We wanted the Ugandan kids to have shoot.
Damn, what if she was adopting 2 little white babies? Would you have the same celebratory?
So let me tell you why Clubhouse has been positive for me.
You met me.
I met you. I met a lot of wonderful people on this app, good, bad, and indifferent. I still see it as an opportunity of being able to add to my knowledge, whether it was a negative conversation. For me, it was a positive because I got to understand somebody else's thought process. And to be able to handle that next conversation or that next situation that might prepare me for something else. So I just try to look at any and everything as a learning opportunity or a growing opportunity. Either way, I feel like I'm just adding to it. I do see how it can be negative sometimes if you allow it. And when I do start feeling that way, it's just time for me to just go and recharge myself, recharge my thoughts.
Hey, Chi, my love. Did you see what this guy who's on stage now, The Wire, he wrote in the chat, First Lady C, listening to you is a mental masturbation.
Why? Why would you say that?
Why would you say that, The Wire? Iron Man?
I just mean, like, she's intellectual and she sounds intelligent. That's what I say.
That didn't sound like a bad thing to me.
Thank you, Mr. Wire. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
See, and that's another thing. I've learned something very important on this app, and I've exercised it. I exercise it more and more. Is not to assume. Because I could have assumed that meant something else and then responded to what I think it means. But instead, I was just like, oh, wait a minute. Why'd you say that? I asked the question. I asked for clarity before I responded.
Echo Cap. He knew exactly what he was saying. He didn't mean it in a positive manner. But if you want to go with that because you are a positive person, be my guest.
I really don't think he meant anything bad about that. I've heard men say that to me on my... I'm a phone sex operator, so I've had men say that before, and it wasn't an insult. But I don't know. Maybe he meant it that way. I don't know. That's not a claim that he just made up.
I meant it in a good way. I'm sorry if I offended you.
Yeah, it's not a made-up term that he just made up. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Masturbation is not necessarily a bad thing,
It's not. Men actually enjoy it a whole lot.
And women don't?
I'm sure women do, but I don't have women callers. Men call me. And they enjoy it.
Well, is masturbation only used in terms of sexual content? Like, isn't there another way to use that word that's not just sexual?
Okay, if you see it that way, I don't think men do, but okay.
No, I'm just asking.
Tell us how, Holly.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's the only way to use it. I just thought for a minute.
We don't go to the masseuse for muscle masturbation. We go for massages. But let me ask you guys this: it's like I think that like one of the things I love is that every single person on Clubhouse is an expert in something that you're not. Like my favorite question on Clubhouse, like, what are you an expert in? And if it's like frying chicken, I could ask you a billion questions about how you're an expert in frying chicken. Whatever it is. Like I think that's the coolest thing is you get to learn things from experts. Like everyone's an expert.
Wow. By the way, I'm an expert at frying chicken. Just so you know.
Any questions, Greg?
Wings or thighs? Or legs? Or breasts?
Ain't nobody frying no breast.
Here's the real question: Do you wash your greens in the bathtub?
If I got enough, yeah, I might.
Do you cleanse the chicken with soap?
Hell no, that's retarded. you know better than that. Only weird people do that.
I just heard you chicken off.
seen people literally put detergent on their chicken. Okay.
Somebody put Dawn on their chicken.
Yes.
I have people put use bleach in there. Like I literally a drop of bleach. Like y'all going too far.
No, they told us to do that on CNN during the pandemic. I watched the Democrats on CNN tell people to wash. I saw that. I saw it.
I ain't never seen nothing like that.
Wait a second. Did they also tell you to shoot yourself with bleach like Trump did?
Trump can do no wrong. At this point, Trump can do no wrong in my eyes. If he say take the bleach, listen, y'all might want to consider the bleach.
Marshall, I just wanted to tell you, rinsing off your chicken thighs or whatever, raw chicken, is actually higher likelihood to contaminate your countertops than opposed to the chance of you actually getting harmed by cooking chicken that you have not rinsed off.
Still gonna rinse that shit off.
That's like my
ritual.
Listen to an expert. You need to look at what the experts tell you, because that is not the recommended strategy. You want to anything you cook, it's gonna kill any bad bacteria anyway.
It's not that. I have a ritual. The ritual is part of the ritual is I wash my chicken in the sink. Like
you're risking contamination. That is not recommended. Even if
contamination from what? Fluoride?
What are you talking about?
Let me just say this really quick. Historically, black folks, since we got hold of a damn raw chicken, have been washing chicken, and no one's gotten sick from washing a damn chicken. So I don't know where y'all get this from. You can wash a chicken because everybody's going to be contaminated. Like, y'all need to stop with this now.
That's Caucasian.
I have a question.
Like, what's more problematic? Is it white people's lack of chicken or their legs? Like,
why do you want to wash their legs?
No, I know for a fact white people don't wash their legs because I dated a white woman, and that woman did. I was done. They say the shampoo runs down from the hair and runs down the legs, and that's how their legs get washed. I swear. When she told me that, and then I saw white people saying that on Instagram, and they said that only poor people use washcloths. But they wonder why we look so young.
Same level of respect, even though the man was flawed. Do you see what I'm saying here?
So, let me ask you a question, KB, because again, I did not see the totality of the interview that you're speaking of, or the back and forth that you're discussing. So let me ask you this, and maybe you have. Was that the only point that he made? Was there a broader point being made about it? Was it probably he cheated on his wife and he's the worst person that ever existed?